All right. Good morning. Glad to have all of you here this morning. Everybody here in the space, everybody online. This morning, we're going to begin our exploration of Maya in the sense of illusion. What is illusion? You know, Richard Bach wrote a whole book about illusions. He screamed at one of the characters in the midst of the story. He said, "It's all illusions. It's all illusions." And it's like, what does it mean? What does that mean for us? Illusions. And Maya and the sense of things not being real. Because I tell you what, all those things people have told me they're not real and it's all an illusion over the course of my life feels awful real, doesn't it? Oh, but the wise and the people sitting on the mountain meditating throughout their lives will sit and tell us, but it's all illusion. It's all illusory. It's not, just don't worry about it. But it's my lived experience. I have a life experience that tells me that this is really happening to me, happening for me, happening through me, happening around me. I can touch it. I can feel it. I feel the emotions. So we are going to begin an exploration of that this week, this month. We're going to be talking about illusions and Maya and what is all that about. So I get to start it off. And so I'm going to start with a quote from Teilhard de Chardin. And this quote gets thrown around a lot in the spiritual world, where he says, "We are spiritual beings having a human experience." We're spiritual beings having a human experience. Does that mean that the human experience is not spiritual? No, no. It means that this human experience is part of my spiritual journey. That this life that I'm living, this life I'm inhabiting, is absolutely a spiritual one. That it rises up out of my humanness, my humanity, my human experience rises up out of my spiritual reality, my spiritual sense of life, my spiritual sense of being. I can stand in the midst of my life in the face of whatever is going on. If I have the presence of mind enough, I can stand in the center of my life and say, you know what? I am a peaceful, powerful, poised, creative being. I have that choice. I have that agency. I have that ability. The writer of our book of the month, Arun Kanda, writes this. He says that our beliefs, serves as the foundation upon which our mental landscapes are constructed. These beliefs act as filters through which we interpret the world. These beliefs act as filters through which we interpret the world. What is that saying? It's like saying that, it's like having those vertical or horizontal blinds over the windows. It's like those can change the way I see what's going on outside, can they not? If I'm standing on the inside looking outside, the blinds over my windows, if they're not drawn back, have an impact on what I see. Sometimes they can even hide what's really going on outside if they're turned in such an angle or I'm standing at a certain place. But if I draw those blinds back, I can see clearly through the window what's going on. Much like our lives, right? The beliefs that we hold can act like those blinds, those filters, changing the way I'm seeing what's going on around me. Sometimes it can change it so much that it makes it completely dark, and I can't really see what's going on at all because I bought into some sense of pain or angst or anxiety that is hiding everything else from me, and I feel trapped. And at that same breath, if I can have the awareness enough to just shift it just a little bit, begin turning that adjustment on the blinds a little bit to open up to maybe see the light, to maybe see something different, and allow my beliefs to shift enough to open up an opportunity to see more, to feel more, to be more, to express more. In the science of mind, we talk this way about our beliefs. It says, the universal subjective mind receives the impress of our thought and acts upon it. Does it not? The universal subjective mind, the law of life, receives the impress of our thought and acts upon it. Begin saying yes to the content of our consciousness. Begin saying yes to the changes we want to create within ourselves. So what does all this have to do with Maya, Reverend Lee? This is what it has to do with Maya. So I have two definitions. I dug around. I have three, actually, but two. Start out with two. Hinduism says this about Maya. Maya is the divine illusion, the creative power that makes the one appear as the many. Maya is the divine illusion / creative power that makes the one appear as the many. Buddhism goes on to say this. Maya refers to the deceptive appearance of the material world as impermanent and empty of a fixed self. Maya refers to the deceptive appearance of the material world. It is impermanent and empty of a fixed self. Those appear to be a little contradictory, but they're not. Maya as the divine illusion, creative power that makes the one appear as the many. And again, in Buddhism, we talk about it being an appearance, the material world being an appearance. Okay. All right. So we can hang on to those and move on to the next from Paramahansa Yogananda. Yogananda says this. Maya is not an illusion in the sense of being unreal. It is an illusion in the sense of being a relative reality, a partial truth. It is real in the sense that it is a projection of the absolute, but it is not the absolute itself. Okay? It is not an illusion in the sense of being unreal. It is an illusion in the sense of being a relative reality, a partial truth. It is real in the sense that it is a projection of the absolute, but not the absolute itself. In Science of Mind, we talk about New Thought, we talk about all I am is God. But I am not all that God is. Right? All I am is spirit or God, a manifestation, a point of expression for the all or the absolute. But I am not all that the absolute is. Right? The world of experience can make it seem as if it is all that this is all there is. Is this all there is? No, it's not all there is. It is all there is in my experience in this moment, but there is more. I live in this moment as a point of expression of the divine. I live in this moment as a point of expression as of the all, of the absolute. And everything I see, touch, feel, and experience is that absolute, is that allness being expressed when I allow myself to see it as such. So am I going to buy into the limitation? Am I going to buy into the this is all there is? Or am I going to hold it as temporary, hold all this allness as temporary and say in the same moment, yes, this is what it is. This is my experience in this moment, and there's more. And it's temporary. I know a lot of us like, I know for myself, and there are a lot of us out here in the world that like to hold on to these experiences as being permanent. I like to be able to count on something, right? There was a meme. There was a meme that popped up yesterday that said, okay, I can buy into this too shall pass. And what's the timeline for that? Right? I get an ETA for when this too shall pass. Yes. Thank you for the reminder. But you get the point, right? This too shall pass. And what's the plan? I need to know the plan, right? I need to know the plan. So this sense of an illusory world, is it an illusion? The illusion is that it's permanent. The illusion is that it's fixed. The illusion is that the expression itself is changeless. No, the expression itself is always in motion. The expression is always changing. And thank heavens that it's always changing. Sometimes I don't like the way that it changes. Sometimes I don't like the timing of it the way it changes. And that liking and not being happy with it, that's all on me, right? If I'm upset, it's because I'm attached. And that's okay. I can have my upset and I can move through it and I can get to the other side of it. The form and expression, the way spirit shows up in all of its different ways is wonderful and magnificent. And it's always changing. Judge Thomas Troward, who did much of his spiritual study in India as a judge in India during the occupation, wrote this. He says, form is not reality. It is only the effect of reality. Reality is behind the form. Reality is behind the expression. Reality is behind the manifestation of form. That is what is real and changeless. So we can look to this expression, we can look to this form and experience and say, okay, trickster or teacher? Right? Is this form and expression happening as something that's trying to fool me? No. It's showing up as an expression of me, as an outpicturing of my own thinking, as an outpicturing of my own experience, showing up for me to learn about me. It is showing me who I am. My reaction to my environment, my reaction to the people, places, and things, that is an opportunity for me to learn and grow, to move through my upset if I'm upset, to embrace the love if I'm experiencing love, to find joy if what I'm after is joy, to remind myself that what I want to do is end the day with laughter, right? To look at my partner at the end of the day and giggle and know that that's fun. That's the way I want to end my day. And yes, we keep score. Who got the giggle tonight? What is the experience I want to create for myself? If my beliefs are there in creating the foundation by which my landscape of life is created, what is it I am doing to do that? How am I participating in that at a conscious level? We're always participating. What am I giving attention to? What are the thought processes and the thought patterns that I'm creating for myself that say, this is what I'm creating? Because what I give my attention to is always going to manifest itself. So how am I going about that? How am I doing that in a very intentional way in my world? Because I get to walk into and approach my life and say, am I doing it in a way that I am a captive to my environment? Or am I going about this as saying, I am creating my environment? I'm creating the mental landscape that supports the kind of life I want to live, that supports the kind of experience of my world that I want to live. Am I filling my internal landscape with thoughts and ideas of love and joy and peace and prosperity and health and wholeness and excitement and enthusiasm, creativity, and all of these qualities that I want to experience? Is that the landscape I am creating? Or am I creating one that's filled with fear and anxiety? It would be very easy for me to look at the situation I am in with looking for a place in this market. It's this, this market, the rental market's been real challenging for us. And some things happened yesterday. We got a little upset. We got a little downtrodden. We got a little anxious about everything, but we kept talking. We kept talking through it and kept saying, okay, well, what about this? And what about this? And what about this? What happens if this? What happens if this? And we figured out how we respond to all those things that we thought could be catastrophic. And we walked through it. And we faced it and said, okay, we have the ability and the agency to respond to all these different situations. So we are okay. And we will continue to look. We'll continue to be open to possibilities beyond what we have imagined up until now, so that we can change that landscape. We transform that landscape of fear to one of faith. We transform that mental landscape of limitation to one that is open to opportunity. Because we turned and faced it and walked through it. We took what could have been a mental cage of belief systems, or what had been up until that moment, a mental cage of belief systems. Bars on all sides. Can't see the way out. And we took that cage and transformed it into a canvas upon which we designed and created an image of the kind of life we want to live, the kind of place we want to live in. So we literally changed that cage to a canvas. And we all have the opportunity to do that on a day in, day out basis. You each have that opportunity. And if you need help, if you want support, we have people who will be happy to help and support you in that. We don't do this journey alone here. We do it together. We support each other. We celebrate each other. Emma Curtis Hopkins goes on to say this: The world of form and experience is a reflection of our inner beliefs. If we would change the reflection, we change the beliefs. What we've been talking about all morning. We get to do that. You see. And it's that same thing. It's that old story of, we want to change our attitudes about what is in front of us to do, what is in front of us to be done on a day in, day out basis. Is it a have to or is it a get to? I'm alive, so I get to. It'd be easy to frame a lot of these things as have tos. In the end, I choose. And if it's the thing that I'm choosing to do, then it's an I get to. I get to choose to do this. I get to choose to make the choices. I get to choose to take action. Rhonda Byrne goes on to write this. She says, "You are not a powerless speck of dust drifting around in the wind, are you? No. You are a beautiful, powerful, deliberate creator. We are not powerless. Each and every one of us has agency to take choices, to take action in our lives. We get to choose how we think. We get to choose how we believe. We get to choose how we act. We get to choose to see past what seems to be a limitation, what seems to be a fixed point in this life. None of it is. It's always changing, always evolving, always changing into something else. If there's something in my life that I want to change, I get to check in with myself and ask myself, is this true? Is this idea, is this expression of me the truth of me? Is it a belief that is mine? Is it a belief that I've taken on? Is it a belief that somebody else has handed to me and that I just accepted whole cloth? I get to change that. I get to ask the question, is it true? Is it mine? And does it serve my highest and greatest good? And so this will be the spiritual practice for the week, is being mindful about what it is we are believing, what it is we are thinking. Asking the question of ourselves, is it true? Is it mine? And does this serve my highest good? Remembering that it's our thoughts, it's our beliefs that manage and create the landscape in which we live. So we get to question our own believing, question our own thoughts, question our own beliefs and say, is this true? Is this mine? And does this serve my highest good? And if it doesn't, then we get to change it. We get to shift it. Just like the exercise that Katie and I went through yesterday with this whole looking for someplace to live thing. We got to shift through it. We got to move through it and transform those beliefs that were saying we were limited into beliefs that were into a way of thinking that said, no, we're open to opportunities and we're open to something beyond what we've imagined taking place. So with that, we'll open it up for questions from all of you. Thoughts, questions, anything from y'all here or the folks online as well. Any questions? Stephen? Is this on? No. There we go.
I am grateful that I have a new opportunity with the Hilton. I started on the 23rd. I am keeping myself open to other opportunities for multiple streams of income, not limiting. How is it that you are grateful for having an opportunity, livelihood, but then also being open to other opportunities without confusing spirit going, I'm not grateful enough for that. I want more.
All right. Thank you. It's like saying yes and. Yes, this, and I'm open to more. Yes, I'm grateful for this, and I'm open to more. I don't have to be limited. And because you are holding it that way, Stephen, then spirit, the law of cause and effect, right, only says yes to the content of our consciousness, only responds to what we say, right? So it's saying yes to your yes and, right? Saying, yes, I'm grateful for this, and I'm open to more. Yes, I'm grateful for this, and I'm going to show up 110% for this. And in that same breath, I'm open to expansion. It's like that little button on LinkedIn that says, yes, I'm happy. Yes, I'm happy where I am, and I'm open to listening to offers. Right? Same thing. Yes, I'm happy with this. And if there's more, I'm willing to accept that too. This or something better. This or something better. Over here. Yes, ma'am.
Way back when I was in college, new math came along. Anybody have that new math?
Remember,
One thing I think was part of that was that questions are in essay form, and you have two circles, and you always think which is the bigger circle, and the other circle can fit inside of it. Like, yeah, I'm happy now, but I can be happier or something. Whatever that thing is called, the big circle, that was the biggest thing. I mean, that was the controlling thing.
mm-hmm.
Did you learn something like two circles? If something will fit inside of another circle, then that is subservient to the bigger circle. Like, yeah, I can be happier. I'm happy.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I always thought of two circles.
Two circles. Okay. Thank you. All right. Anybody else? All right. Well, let's wrap it up then. We'll do some prayer work. If you'll join with me. Just hum with me. And today we begin with gratitude. Gratitude for this time that we've had here this morning. Gratitude for insight and openness. Gratitude for love and joy. Gratitude for our opportunity to see beyond appearance. And so we recognize the one infinite power and presence that is God, infinite spirit, life, love, joy, and truth, right here with us, in us, through us, around us, as each and every one of us. We acknowledge it in ourselves and in each other here in the space and online, wherever you are. We trust that all is well, that life is good, and that if there is a desire in your heart for change, a desire for healing, a desire for something more expansive in your life, we bring it forward and set it aside. We bring it forward and let it go. We let it go into the realm of law, a law of life that is saying yes to the impress of our thought, yes to the desires of our heart. Yes to letting go of what has held us back up until now. We let all of it go. We let go of the fear and anxiety and allow love to shine forth, joy to bubble up inside of us and giggle just a little bit. Because if God is anything, God is a giggle. And so for each and every one of us here, everybody listening and everybody with something to let go of, something to claim, something to accept, I know that all is well and that life is good. We are grateful for this life. Grateful for the experience of health and wholeness and prosperity. Grateful for the experience of love. Grateful for wisdom and insight. All of this and so much more is the truth of who and what we are, each and every one. A point of light within the mind and heart of God. This is the truth of us. And so we let it be. And so it is.